everyone. I wanted to talk to y'all today about reflective writing. We just went through a whole writing process. You brainstormed, you drafted, you revised, you edited, you published, and you even performed your story. And so after going through a whole process like that, I really want to spend some time on reflecting on that process, and you'll be reflecting through writing. So today our lesson's topic is reflective writing, and the essential question is, how can I use reflection and self-examination in order to support my critical thinking process as well as grow as a learner? So reflection is a form of personal response to experiences, situations, events, or new information. And it's a processing phase where thinking and learning take place. And so that's important because a lot of times I will see students skip over or provide brief responses. But if you are doing that, you are not processing and then showing evidence of that processing. And then if you're not processing the thinking and the learning, that stuff doesn't become permanent in your mind or in your schemas. So there's not really a right or wrong way to do this, but you'll be given questions to explore, and that's the point there, is exploring. So the only stipulation is that it shouldn't be brief or skimmed over just for the sake of completing a task, because I will specifically be looking for the reflective qualities of your writing, not that you just did it. So in order to reflect, you need to pause and identify your own thoughts, revisit prior experiences and knowledge, consider how and why you think the way that you do. And it's important to get to know that about yourself, because reflection often allows us to understand ourselves better because we don't spend a lot of our time reflecting. It allows you to examine your beliefs, attitudes, values, and assumptions. And then it allows you to consider how those beliefs and attitudes form the foundation of your understanding. So the benefits of reflective writing are great. So it allows for you to recognize that you bring valuable knowledge to every experience, and that your prior knowledge interacts with your new knowledge to form complete understandings of things. It allows for you to clarify and make important connections between what you know, what you've learned, and what you're currently learning. It allows for you to become an active, aware, and critical learner rather than just a passive participant consuming. It's really important as a learner that you are actively engaging and interacting, or else you're not really learning. You're just going through the motions. So reflective writing is doing all those things, obviously, but through writing and documenting your responses to experiences, opinions, events, or new information. It's communicating your response to thoughts and feelings and actually pausing to consider what those may be. So you have to take some time when it comes to reflective writing rather than just writing some random stuff down. It's a way of exploring your learning. And I've used that word again, exploring, and an opportunity to gain self-knowledge. And so, like I said, you have to pause and get to know yourself a little bit and consider how you think. It's a way to achieve clarity and better understanding of what you're learning. So if we were to pause and do some reflecting, a lot of our misunderstandings might be cleared up, or at least we would understand where those misunderstandings are, so we'd figure out how to help ourselves. And it's a chance to develop and reinforce our writing skills. As always, that's a goal that we have. Another thing is that we need to make meaning out of what we study. So rather than just memorizing facts and information, you're learning things because they matter in the world around you. And part of how it matters is that you can take what you're learning and say, this is why it's meaningful. This is how it connects to the world around me. And that's something that you do through reflective writing. And to thoroughly communicate your thought process. And I want to see evidence of your thought process with reflective writing. So it is not just conveying information, instruction, or argument. It is not just pure description, even though there might be descriptive elements. It's not straightforward in terms of a decision or a judgment. If you are communicating a decision or a judgment, you have to explain how you got there in the process by which you made that decision. It's not simple problem solving. And it's not just a summary of course notes or a standard essay. You really have to show that processing as you are doing your reflective writing. So the writing style is mostly subjective, and that's the opposite of objective. So it gets Okay, so where we left off, it also includes description. So description answers what, where, and who, as well as analysis, such as the questions of how, why, and what if. And so remember not to just limit it to description. You also have to provide that an analytical aspect of it as well. It's exploratory. You use full sentences and complete paragraphs. Answering something with one word or with one sentence is not acceptable in a reflective piece. First person is acceptable because it's obviously more personal and, like I said, subjective. So you can discuss your perceptions, questions that you have or that were brought up during whatever it was that you were exploring, experiences, ideas, observations over the course of a task. So in this instance, you were tasked with writing a story and taking it through the writing process. So you'll relay those experiences, ideas, and observations, which means that you'll have to stop and pause and reflect on what you've done and what you were experiencing during that process. It allows for you to discuss difficulties, frustrations, inspirations, and why, and make sure that you're always answering that continual question of why. You can discuss possibilities and speculations, alternative interpretations, new ideas that challenge what you know. And that's really important, is examining how the information we're intaking might challenge or add to things that we've already experienced, and then making sense of that. And then questions or other ideas that you need to explore for next time. It's also important to discuss how you solved a problem, how you reached a conclusion or found an answer or reached an understanding, discussing comparison and connections, all that good stuff. So make sure that all of these things are the types of things that you're doing in your reflective writing. Okay. And of course, as always, if you have questions, let me know.